Dealing with disrespect in a Stoic manner involves recognizing that our control lies not in the actions or words of others, but in our own responses. It's about maintaining inner tranquility by choosing not to allow external events to disturb our peace of mind. Stoicism teaches us to meet disrespect with understanding, patience, and reflection, viewing it as an opportunity for personal growth rather than a personal affront. By focusing on our own virtues and the bigger picture, we can navigate through instances of disrespect with dignity and composure. True to the Stoic ideal of living a virtuous life, remember, it is not what happens to us, but how we choose to respond, that defines our character. Here are 11 practical lessons on Stoic wisdom for dealing with disrespect. Lesson 1. The power of perception. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized that it is not the events themselves that disturb people, but the views they take of them. In the context of disrespect, this means that feeling insulted or slighted is a result of our own judgments and beliefs about the situation, not the situation itself. This is a powerful realization, because it suggests that by changing our perceptions, we can change our emotional responses. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This encapsulates the Stoic belief that we have the power to choose our reactions to external events, including disrespect. To practice this lesson, you can engage in a simple yet effective exercise called the dichotomy of control. This involves distinguishing between what is within our control, our own thoughts and reactions, and what is not, others' actions and opinions. Step 1. When you encounter disrespect, take a moment to write down the event as objectively as possible, without infusing it with any emotional language. For example, a colleague said my idea was not good. Step 2. Identify the aspects of the situation in control. In this case, it could be your response, your future actions, or your attitude towards the feedback. Step 3. Acknowledge the aspects you cannot control, such as your colleague's opinion or behavior. Step 4. Make a conscious decision to focus on your controlled response. You might choose to ask for specific feedback, reflect on any valid points, or simply decide not to let the comment affect your self-esteem. By regularly practicing this exercise, you can train yourself to respond to disrespect with a more stoic, composed mindset, reducing the emotional impact these situations have on you. Remember, the goal is not to suppress emotions, but to understand and manage them through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Lesson 2. Respond, don't react. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of responding to situations with a rational and measured approach, rather than reacting on impulse. This distinction is crucial when dealing with disrespect. A reaction is typically quick, driven by emotions, and often lacks consideration of the long-term consequences. In contrast, a response is thoughtful, deliberate, and aligned with one's values and objectives. The Stoic philosopher Seneca advised that we should take a moment before responding to potential provocations, allowing ourselves time to return to a state of calm and reason. This pause creates space between the stimulus, the disrespectful act, and our response, giving us the opportunity to choose a course of action that we will not regret later. To practice this Stoic lesson, you can engage in the following exercise, which can be called as the Stoic pause. Step 1. When you encounter a situation where you feel disrespected, consciously decide to implement a brief pause. This could be as simple as taking a deep breath or counting to 10. Step 2. During this pause, ask yourself some guiding questions. What would a wise person do in this situation? Or what response aligns with my values? Step 3. Use this time to consider the potential consequences of your immediate reaction versus a more considered response. Step 4. Choose to respond in a way that reflects your principles and what you stand for, rather than letting the heat of the moment dictate your actions. This exercise helps to cultivate self-control and equanimity, two qualities highly valued in Stoicism. By practicing the Stoic pause, you train yourself to respond to disrespect and, indeed, any challenging situation with composure and wisdom, rather than with impulsive emotions that may lead to regrettable outcomes. Remember, the space between stimulus and response is where your power lies. Let's explore Lesson 3. Control what you can. Stoicism teaches the importance of focusing our energy on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. This idea is rooted in the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control, which categorizes things into two groups: those within our control, our own actions, thoughts, and feelings, and those outside our control, other people's actions, thoughts, and external events. When it comes to disrespect, the actions and words of others fall into the category of things we cannot control. The Stoics would advise us not to waste our emotional energy on these external factors, but instead to focus on our own responses and attitudes, which are within our sphere of influence. To put this lesson into practice, you can perform the following exercise, which can be called as the sphere of influence. Step 1. Reflect on a recent event where you felt disrespected. Write it down in 2 columns, 1 4 factors within your control, and 1 4 factors outside of your control. Step 2. For the factors within your control, list the ways you can respond positively or use the situation for personal growth. This might include seeking constructive feedback, improving your skills, or simply choosing to maintain your composure. Step 3. For the factors outside of your control, practice acceptance. Acknowledge that these elements are not yours to command, and let go of any resentment or frustration you may feel towards them. Step 4. Commit to focusing your efforts on the first column. Whenever you find your mind drifting to the second column, gently remind yourself to redirect your attention to what you can control. This exercise helps to cultivate a Stoic mindset, enabling you to remain calm and composed in the face of disrespect, and to use such experiences as opportunities for self-improvement, rather than sources of distress. Remember, it's about directing your efforts where they can actually make a difference. Let's take a closer look at Lesson 4. Compassion over anger. Stoicism encourages the practice of compassion as a response to negative actions, including disrespect. The philosophy suggests that every person acts according to their level of knowledge and virtue, and often, those who display disrespect are themselves struggling or suffering. Instead of meeting disrespect with anger, which is an easy and reactive emotion, Stoicism teaches us to respond with understanding and empathy. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wrote in his Meditations about the importance of seeing the good in others and responding with kindness even when faced with wrongdoing. He believed that responding with anger does not align with our rational nature and only serves to harm our peace of mind. To incorporate this lesson into your life, you can practice the following exercise, which can be called like the compassion shift. Step 1. When you feel disrespected, notice any initial feelings of anger or irritation and acknowledge them without judgment. Step 2. Shift your perspective by considering the possible reasons behind the other person's disrespectful behavior. They might be having a bad day, facing personal challenges, or simply lack awareness of their impact on others. Step 3. Consciously choose to respond with empathy. Ask yourself, how can I show understanding or help alleviate their suffering? Step 4. Engage in a compassionate action. Whether it's offering a kind word, providing support, or simply choosing not to escalate the situation. This exercise helps to develop the Stoic virtue of kindness and prevents the cycle of negativity that anger can perpetuate. By practicing the compassion shift, you align yourself with Stoic wisdom, which values harmony and the well-being of both oneself and others. Remember, compassion is not only beneficial for those who receive it, but also for the one who practices it, as it fosters inner peace and resilience. Lesson 5. The virtue of patience. Patience is a central virtue in Stoicism, which teaches the importance of enduring discomfort without allowing it to dominate our emotions or reactions. The Stoic philosophers believed that patience was a form of wisdom, allowing an individual to maintain tranquility and composure in the face of adversity, such as experiencing disrespect. Epictetus, one of the leading Stoic thinkers, suggested that we should view challenges as exercises for our character. In the case of disrespect, practicing patience means not immediately reacting with hurt or anger, but rather taking a step back to understand the situation and respond appropriately. To cultivate patience in the face of disrespect, you can engage in the following exercise, which can be called the patience practice. Step 1. Identify a situation where you typically feel impatient, such as being in a long queue or dealing with slow internet. Step 2. During this situation, consciously remind yourself of the Stoic view on patience. Recognize that getting upset will not change the circumstances. Step 3. Practice deep breathing or mindfulness to stay calm. Focus on the present moment rather than the outcome. Step 4. Reflect on the experience later. How did maintaining patience affect your mood and the situation? Did it change the outcome? By regularly engaging in the patience practice, you'll develop a stronger ability to remain calm and composed when faced with disrespect or any other challenging situation. This Stoic exercise helps to reinforce the idea that we can choose our responses and that patience can lead to a more peaceful and measured approach to life's difficulties. Remember, patience is not passive. It's an active and powerful choice. Lesson 6. Reflect on impermanence. Stoicism teaches the practice of reflecting on the impermanence of life and the transient nature of all experiences, including negative ones like disrespect. This concept is known as memento mori, a Latin phrase that means remember you must die. While it may sound morbid, the intention is to highlight the fleeting nature of earthly concerns and to encourage a focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the impermanence of human affairs and the importance of living a virtuous life in the present moment. By recognizing that the disrespect we face today will be insignificant in the grand scheme of things, we can maintain our composure and not allow such incidents to disturb our inner peace. To practice this Stoic lesson, you can engage in the following exercise, which can be called as the perspective of time. Step 1. Recall an instance of disrespect that initially seemed significant and caused you distress. Step 2. Reflect on how this event will be perceived in a week, a month, a year, or even 5 years from now. Will it still hold the same weight? Step 3. Write down your reflections and notice how the perceived importance of the event diminishes as you project further into the future. Step 4. Remind yourself of this broader perspective. The next time you face disrespect, ask yourself, in the grand timeline of my life, how much does this moment truly matter? This exercise helps to cultivate a Stoic mindset that values long-term well-being over short-term emotional reactions. By regularly practicing the perspective of time, you train yourself to respond to disrespect with a sense of detachment and wisdom, recognizing that most troubles are temporary and not worth the disturbance of your tranquility. Remember, it's the enduring virtues and the quality of your character that remain long after specific events have passed. Lesson 7. Embrace challenges. Stoicism teaches that obstacles and challenges, such as experiencing disrespect, are not merely to be endured, but can be used as opportunities for personal growth and the development of virtue. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that difficulties strengthen the mind, much as labor does the body. Thus, when we face disrespect, we should not view it as a misfortune, but as a chance to practice Stoic principles, such as resilience, equanimity, and courage. To apply this lesson, you can undertake the following exercise, which can be called like the obstacle course. Step 1. Identify a situation where you've experienced disrespect that felt like an obstacle to your peace of mind or progress. Step 2. Reflect on how this situation can be seen as an opportunity to practice Stoic virtues. For example, can it teach you resilience? Can it help you practice forgiveness or understanding? Step 3. Write down a plan of action that turns this negative experience into a positive one. This might involve setting a personal goal to improve an aspect of yourself or finding a way to help others who might be in a similar situation. Step 4. Act on this plan and observe how transforming the challenge into an opportunity for growth changes your perception of the initial disrespect. By engaging in the obstacle course, you embrace the Stoic mindset that every challenge is a disguised opportunity. This exercise helps you to shift your focus from the negative aspects of disrespect to the positive outcomes that can arise from dealing with it constructively. Remember, it's not what happens to you, but how you use it to your advantage that defines your character. Lesson 8. Self-reflection. Stoicism places great importance on the practice of self-reflection as a means to gain wisdom and live a virtuous life. The Stoics believed that by examining our thoughts, actions, and reactions, we can learn from our mistakes and improve ourselves. Self-reflection is particularly valuable when dealing with disrespect, as it allows us to consider our role in the situation and how we can respond more constructively. In the future, Epictetus emphasized the need for daily self-examination. He suggested that, at the end of each day, one should review their actions and consider how they aligned with Stoic virtues. This practice helps to cultivate self-awareness and personal growth. To practice this lesson, you can engage in the following exercise, which may have a name: the daily review. Step 1. At the end of each day, set aside time for quiet reflection. Consider the events of the day, particularly any instances where you felt disrespected. Step 2. Ask yourself a series of questions. How did I handle the situation? Was my response in line with Stoic principles? What could I have done differently? Step 3. Write down your reflections in a journal. This will help to solidify your thoughts and provide a record of your progress over time. Step 4. Use these reflections to set intentions for the following day. How will you apply the lessons learned to future interactions? By regularly engaging in the daily review, you reinforce the Stoic practice of self-reflection, leading to greater self-knowledge and the ability to handle disrespect with grace and wisdom. Remember, the goal is not to judge yourself harshly, but to observe and learn, making incremental improvement each day. Let's focus on Lesson 9, the role of adversity. Stoicism teaches that adversity is not just an obstacle to be overcome, but a tool for building strength and character. The Stoics believed that facing challenges, including disrespect, is a way to practice and embody virtues such as resilience, courage, and wisdom. Seneca, one of the prominent Stoic philosophers, argued that hardships and difficulties are necessary for the soul, and that without them, we cannot truly test or improve ourselves. To apply this lesson, you can perform the following exercise, which can be called as the adversity advantage. Step 1. Think of a recent situation where you faced disrespect or adversity. Write down the details of the event and how it made you feel. Step 2. reflect on the virtues that this situation could help you develop. For instance, did it test your patience? Or did it give you an opportunity to practice forgiveness? Step 3. Write down specific actions you can take to turn this negative experience into a positive one. This could involve seeking out new perspectives, learning from the feedback, or finding ways to support others going through similar experiences. Step 4. Implement these actions and observe the changes in yourself. Notice how embracing adversity can lead to personal growth and a deeper understanding of Stoic principles. By regularly practicing the adversity advantage, you learn to see disrespect not as a personal affront, but as an opportunity to strengthen your character and live more virtuously. Remember, it's through overcoming challenges that we grow the most, and Stoicism provides a framework for turning every instance of adversity into a step towards self-improvement. Lesson 10. The Stoic Reserve Clause, or the Premeditatio Malorum, is a concept where Stoics prepare for the possibility that things may not go as planned. It's an acknowledgement of the unpredictable nature of life, and the understanding that we can hope for the best, but should also be prepared for the worst. This mental preparation helps to mitigate disappointment and maintain equanimity in the face of adversity, such as experiencing disrespect. Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers advised that, while we should work towards our goals, we must also keep in mind that the outcome is not entirely within our control. This detachment from the result allows us to remain steadfast in our efforts without becoming overly attached to the success or failure of our endeavors. To incorporate the Stoic Reserve Clause into your life, you can practice the following exercise, which can be called the flexible mindset. Step 1. When planning how to handle a potential situation of disrespect, set your intention for how you wish to respond, but add mentally, fate permitting, or if nothing prevents me. Step 2. Visualize different outcomes, including those that are less than ideal, and consider how you would maintain your composure and virtue in each scenario. Step 3. Write down these potential outcomes and your planned responses. This helps to solidify your intentions and prepare you for various possibilities. Step 4. If the situation does not go as hoped, remind yourself of the reserve clause. Reflect on the fact that you did what was within your power, and the rest was never yours to command. By practicing the flexible mindset, you embrace the Stoic approach of focusing on the process rather than the outcome. This exercise helps you to develop resilience and adaptability, ensuring that your peace of mind is not contingent on external events. Remember, it's not about expecting the worst, but about being prepared for any turn of events, thereby maintaining your inner tranquility. Let's examine Lesson 11, the bigger picture. Stoicism encourages us to consider the bigger picture in life, especially when faced with challenges like disrespect. This involves understanding that every event, including negative ones, is part of a larger whole and serves a purpose in the grand tapestry of existence. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, often reflected on how individual events are small when viewed against the vastness of time and space. By adopting a broader perspective, we can reduce the significance of disrespectful incidents and maintain our inner peace. To practice this Stoic lesson, you can engage in the following exercise, which can be called as the cosmic view. Step 1. When you experience disrespect, take a moment to step back from the immediate emotions and consider the incident in the context of your entire life. Step 2. Reflect on the vastness of the universe and the brief nature of human life. Ask yourself, in the grand scheme of things, how significant is this event? Step 3. Write down your thoughts and feelings, focusing on how this broader perspective changes your reaction to the disrespect. Step 4. Use this cosmic view as a reminder in future situations that the disrespect you face is only a small blip in the continuum of your life. By regularly practicing the cosmic view, you cultivate a Stoic mindset that values serenity and rationality over emotional turbulence. This exercise helps you to detach from the minutiae of daily annoyances and to focus on what truly matters in the long run. Remember, it's the ability to see beyond the present moment that allows us to live with wisdom and grace. As the final words to encapsulate the essence of the lessons on dealing with disrespect, let us not take it to heart when others fail to recognize our value. Our worth is not determined by their words, but by our response. In the face of disrespect, let us choose dignity over dishonor, for in our measured reply lies our true strength. May this word serve as a reminder of the Stoic wisdom that can guide us through moments of disrespect with grace and resilience.